reasons, you're going to start seeing plagues break out and there's not going to be any wonder drugs to kill these super bugs.
There aren't.
And once again, it's going to be the same formula. The people that are going to survive are the ones that are going to be the strongest financially, physically, emotionally, and spiritually.
Right. Well, back to that old axiom. All right, when you go on some of the so-called prime media venues and you talk your talk and you walk it as well, do these people hear you? Are they able to digest it? Or are some of them, most of them, just kind of saying, well, that's real interesting, Gerald. What are they saying to you?
Well, some of them know it, but you have to understand something that, a lot of these people, I mean, they're living in bubbles.
Fishbowl.
Yeah, they don't know what it feels like to be destitute. They've never gotten, a fight or, they've never lived in the real world.
Pampered all the way.
And so it's removed from them.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many of them are so pampered. I mean, these sets are so tight. I have to tell you, there are so few that I go on where you feel any sense of relaxation and that people are enjoying what they're doing.
Huh. Wow.
And they're mostly
That's an interesting point. I was in television news for 12 years as a news director anchorman, and I can tell you that I know the kind of stress you're talking about. None of these people are happy. Very few of them are.
No, and they're mostly out of touch. They're living in their little worlds. And of course, the main stars, of TV, these great V actors, I mean, they have pampered lives.
Right.
One of the things, in the cars, they come to pick me up, to drive me, they always send a car to pick you up, down to the station. And, I always get friendly with the drivers. I'm a regular guy, and I don't have to come around and open the door for me, I kind of just jump in. I know how to get in the car.
Yeah.
And I talk to them like a regular guy. And then I start asking about, hey, who do you pick up? And then they'll start telling me, I drive this one or that one. And then they start telling me the stories about them.
Mm-hmm.
And one person, I could tell you story after story, but one guy that's on every night that has always a very big mouth, and that can include a number of them, when he gets in the car, they're not allowed to talk to him or look at him. And he curls up in the back seat in an almost fetal position and just puts his head up against the window. This is the kind of things you're dealing with. I hear one story after another. And a lot of them are regular guys, too. They'll say, so-and-so is a neat guy.
A good guy, yeah. There are some.
There are some. But if there's so many little stories. So that's it in a nutshell. Most of them don't have a clue what's going on. And as you're telling them, they also say things, wow, what you're saying is really frightening. Well, I hope you're wrong.
Right. No, that's it. Do they ever tell you before you go on the air to kind of soft sell it? Gerald, don't come on too strong. You ever get that?
Oh, I used to get that all the time, particularly when I would do the morning shows like the Today shows, the Good Morning Americas, all of those. They would say to me, now, Mr. Celente, people are just waking up. Let's not say anything that's going to upset them too much. So we'd come out with our trends, and they'd want me to talk about, organic coffee. I mean, one of them, they sent me down a whole shoot. It must have cost them, God, it was enormous to talk about why people are getting massages more often.
Gee.
I mean, this is the kind of, the lightweight stuff that
I hear you.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned early, and we do talk about this fairly often when you're on, that when things get bad, those people who feel they have nothing really to live for, I'm not talking about those who have lost their jobs necessarily. I'm talking about a lot of these young people. They don't care. They're going to get hungry, they're going to get guns, and they're going to come looking for food. This brings me to the point, and the point is there's apparently a deliberate and intentional ammunition shortage now in this country. I've been reading the .223 and .38 special, .38 caliber, very, very hard to find now. I don't know if you've run across anything like that.
No, I haven't, but, I'm a close combat practitioner and have been, in the martial arts for over 25 years. And John Perkins of attackproof.com has been my mentor for, many, many years. I consider him one of the best close combat specialists in the country, and I always seek out the best of the best. And what he teaches us, and this is what we're really writing about, both physically and physical self-defense for this coming depression, is that what you do in combat is you plan for the worst possible scenario. And then you have room to back off from there.
Sure.
But if you're not prepared and you're hoping for the best and the worst happens, you're not going to make it.
Not going to make it.
And this is what people better get real about. Oh, you could hope and not to put bad thoughts in your mind, and you could play that New Age game all you want. When you have some 5 or 10 guys crashing through your door, whacked out on hillbilly heroin and who knows what else, it's is real stuff.
Yeah.
And people better get used to it. And I'm armed, I have my gun, it's registered. If anybody listening out there that wants to report me, but I don't wait to get hit. And people that wait to see what's going to happen with this greatest depression are going to be hit hard. Because we're seeing crime levels that we'll have never witnessed before. You're going to see, and I've said this on TV, you're going to see major cities like L.A. and New York City turn into Mexico City, Atlanta, on and on and on. You're going to see kidnappings. You're going to see criminal gangs like the likes of which we've never seen, and not only in cities, they're going to start taking over these rural outposts as well.
Yeah. And the media is not going to report this in the beginning. They're going to attempt to sandbag it and keep it in the background, but it's only a matter of time. Gated communities, doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, forget it.
What better place for a gang to go after?
That's right.
Prime target, folks. That's where all the loot is.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's what they're going to go for. These gated communities won't be able to hold back.
No, you got 2 rent-a-cops at the front gate. Come on, they're going to run home and take care of their families. And another thing, people who get food storage, emergency food supplies, I don't know what you've written about this in specific in terms of who do you tell and who don't you talk to about this? But my counsel is you don't talk to anybody about it. Keep the stuff quiet. You tell your neighbors, yeah, we got a shelter, we got food for 5 years. You know who's going to be at your door? Your neighbors.
That's right. Listen, when 9/11 happened, I don't know if I mentioned to you on what I did on 9/11. I had a whole story because I had predicted,
We just have about a minute, Gerald. So
yeah, but anyway, I was ready to go to Canada. I'm 4.5 hours away,
right.
And if they hit the nuclear plant at Indian Point, just north of New York City, it would have been chaos like we've never seen before.
Never seen. Now, if those had been genuine terrorists who hated America more than anything else, and were willing to die down to the genetic level, they would have flown those planes into nuclear power plants as quickly as they could. They overflew I don't know how many of them. So, the whole 9/11 thing stinks.
But, people better start thinking about, what to do in the worst-case scenario.
Yeah, and the farmers aren't going to be planting, folks, like they have been. They're already massive wholesale food shortages. The wholesalers are cutting back, in fact. I've had a story about that in the last couple of days. Wholesale food suppliers are inventorying less and less. And it's going to get worse. Just wait. You think this summer is going to be bad? Wait till this fall comes around. This is going to be a year from hell. And you better prepare. The Trends Journal is your best bet to understand where this is going, when it's going, and how it's going. Gerald, give them the phone number, would you please?
Yes, it's 845-331-3500. 845-331-3500. And our website is trendsresearch.com.
And you can just click on Gerald's name at rents.com and go right there. Thank you, my friend. Get some rest. Talk to you next month.
Okay. Hey, thanks, Jeff. Good luck.
Good night. Gerald Celente, the one and only. He's an amazing man, and as he says, and you know that from listening to him, he's a regular guy. He's one of us, and he's a great one. And we'll be back in just a few minutes.